Welcome to the channel, thank you for joining me. We are middle of September at the moment, so we're still a good 4.5 months, I think, away from the Arc of Attrition. Did the 25 last year, doing the 50 this year, just checking the kit. So I thought I'd go through my kit list with you. I'm not going to go through it piece by piece, but I will talk about some of the things that I think have changed from last year, some of the kit changes I've made, and sort of why I've made those changes, if you like. So I've got the mandatory kit list here. I'm going to go through it. Start at the top. Suitable, robust trail running footwear. So last year I ran in Innovate's Park Claws. They were fine, to be honest. They held up for the full time. My feet were bruised and battered at the end of it. But yeah, grip-wise, they were absolutely superb. They felt hard on the roads though. So that was my biggest complaint. And the 25, the last 25 has quite a lot of either tarmac sections or hard packed sections, so footpaths rather than muddy trail. So they were really the wrong shoe. I should have gone something a bit more padded. So this year I've gone for the Brooks Caldera. That's this shoe. So far I've done about 50 miles in these. They are really comfortable. The first time I went out in them I did about an 8-mile run. In fact, the first time I ran in them I did Zena. And I did about an 8-mile section of that, and the only thing that wasn't hurting at the end of it was my feet. So yeah, really pleased with these. And I am just moving into the race specific phase of training, so these are going to get a lot more mileage in them moving forward. So yeah, so I've moved to the Brooks. I'll talk more about this shoe in another video because I'm really pleased with how it works. Yes, so next item on the list is the waterproof jacket with integrated hood. Now last year I went out and I bought a nice lightweight, lightish weight running jacket. It is the Carrymore Run, this one. Met all of the requirements from last year. Fully waterproof, fully taped seams, integrated hood. Last year's spec said minimum recommended 10,000 shmurba, which is the same as 10,000 hydrostatic head. This does not have a 10,000 hydrostatic head. This, I believe, is about 8,000 maximum. So this is out this year. I can't use it. It doesn't meet minimum requirements. But I've got a jacket coming. It is the Higher State waterproof stretch jacket. It comes in at £54 from Sports Shoes Direct. So this jacket does meet the minimum requirements in all aspects, and it is extremely breathable. It is more breathable than the Ron Hill jacket, which is almost 3 times the price. Synthetic insulated jacket or gilet. Last year I bought the Smock, and it is a fantastic piece of equipment. I've been wearing it all throughout the winter last year. I'll be wearing it. I'll be taking it on all my runs this year. So if I do need to stop for any reason, that's there. This is the Primaloft gold filling, so it's absolutely superb. It doesn't weigh a lot, and it packs down fairly small. So that's my insulated jacket. These are quite expensive, but you don't need to get something like this. This year they have changed it slightly. So last year that you wasn't allowed to have non-filled side panels, so you can get gilets and running jackets where it's like more of a technical material on the sides and then quilted on the front and back. This year they're allowing that. Long sleeved warm layer, minimum weight 180 grams. Cotton is not permitted. Weirdly enough, the shirt I ran in last year, I was going to plan to run in it this year. It's one of my go-to running tops, and then I checked the material and it's mainly cotton. So the shirt or the shirt I'm actually going to run in is this one. So this is just a long sleeve technical top. Normally I wouldn't mention this, I mean, long sleeve top's a long sleeve top, but I do remember the chatter from last year was all about the weight, what's 130 grams and so on. So I thought I'd just give you sort of a rough idea. So this top here is just under 200 grams. Okay, it's not cotton, it is a technical material. This shirt I'm wearing is my lightest summer walking top from Rab. This is 140 grams. This t-shirt from UTMB, which was given to us last year when we completed it, is around about 180 grams. So if you're running in the winter anyway, you probably find that your standard running tops, as long as it's not cotton, is going to meet that requirement. So I wouldn't worry too much about that weight. Leggings, not going to go into leggings. That hasn't changed from last year. Waterproof over trousers. Now, there's no minimum waterproof rating on these, so I'll just stick with my Regatta Outdoors breathable trousers. I've used these all throughout the winter last year. They're great. Waterproof gloves, got several pairs of those. I tend to have a sort of warm, water-resistant gloves with a Gore-Tex over. Warm beanie hat, cap bandanas and buffs. Okay, so we've got loads and loads of those. Reusable cup, don't use those flimsy plastic ones. They won't let you have those. I have a little pop-up cup that I use when I'm camping anyway, so I'm sorted there. Running pack. Last year I used the Montane Trailblazer 8 along with a race belt, and I got everything into it. But this year I'm taking extra stuff with me, and one of the biggest issues I had last year with this particular pack is if I wanted anything that was in there, I almost had to empty it out completely. There wasn't room to just move stuff out of the way to see if there was stuff underneath it. So this year I have upgraded and I am going with this Rab Aeon LT 25 litre pack. A 25 litres is more than adequate room, but it's the way it's laid out. So I've got a nice big pouch on the back that I can stuff like my waterproofs in, so I don't have to go in and get everything. It's got nice big side pockets. I'll show you one of my water bottles that I'm using this year. So I'm using hard bottles this year, and they just fit in the side pouches there quite nicely. So it's just it's a slightly better configuration. I have got to make a slight change to it. It doesn't compress very well, so when I'm running with it, unless it's very tightly packed, things do move. So I need to put just a couple of little loops on it so I can lace it across the back just to stop it bouncing around. But other than that, everything else is absolutely superb on it. I did a 30-mile run with it at the weekend, and it's fine. I do need to think about taping my back where the hip belt rubs, but again, nothing that I wouldn't have had to do anyway. So yeah, so the 25 litre bag, everything will fit in there. Easy for me to work with, easy for me to get stuff out of. But I'll also be using the Pod, which is this little item here. Now, designed to work with packs, but it clips on to the load adjusters quite nicely, and then the side elastics just clip onto the hip belt around the side there. And that's just for me to keep in things that I want while I'm actually moving. So my cameras will be in there, my phone will be in there, and food that I'll be eating while I'm moving will be in there as well. Next item on the list, smartphone. Yep. Reusable cup. Yep, we've got that. Capacity to carry a minimum volume of liquid. So the minimum volume is for the 50 mile is 1.5 litres. I'll be taking these bottles. Now, I tried the soft flasks last year. I used these, and to be honest, it's one of those strange things. You use these because they take up less space when they're empty, but you've got to carry them when they're full. So you still need enough room to carry the liquid when these are full. So they don't actually save you a lot. They just actually, in my mind, they just make it awkward for you to get the liquids out. So I'll be using just these standard 1 litre bottles. They're just cheapo things from Temu. What I did do was I bought one of these universal kits, so I don't have to keep taking it out to drink it. I can just put this on, put the bottle in the side, put the straw in, and then when this is empty, I'll just swap the bottles over. Yeah, I've fallen out of love with soft flasks. Head torch spare battery, and there's another change here. Last year, the minimum requirement was, I think, either 200 or 250 lumens, and now it's 300 lumens. And you need 2 of them, and you need your spare batteries. So there's a lot of chatter online about which is the best torches. Last year I had 2 different torches. I had this Nicrom, which is really nice. It's rechargeable. It has a rechargeable battery, but you can just put a single AA in. So with that one, spare batteries just meant carrying a couple of extra AAs. Unfortunately, I don't think that hits the minimum requirement now for brightness. This one does. This is the Flex Tail. This is quite happy running at 600 lumens for a couple of hours, or the 300 lumens. It will match that for for like 4 or 5 hours. Again, rechargeable. You can either take the battery out and recharge the battery separately, or you can recharge it from the back. Last year when I was running, I would say this was certainly around the people I was on, this was probably the brightest light out there. As I was running towards people, you could clearly see my light lighting up ahead of them. So it was I know it's sort of adding to the brightness, but it was clearly so much brighter. So I might just get another one of these. Another thing they've allowed you to do this year, which they didn't last year, is carry a battery pack as your spare battery. So if I've got 2 of these and a battery pack, what I can do is wear one, if it runs out, hook it up to the battery pack, carry on running. If the other one runs out, I can swap them over. I do actually have a spare battery for this anyway. So yeah, I might be getting another one of these flex tiles. They're relatively cheap compared to sort of, you know, some of the Petzls and stuff like that out there. I'll drop a link and you can go and have a look at it, but I thoroughly recommend this light. Red tail lights, you pick those up all over the place. I've got a couple just hanging on the back here. Obviously I don't generally use these when I'm running, just for fun, but yeah, these are the same ones I bought last year. Pick them up on Amazon for a couple of quid for 2. And again, you do need 2 of those, and they have to be on all the time. So survival bag emergency bivvy, pick those up online. They're a couple of quid for 2. I will also be taking a couple of blankets, you know, the foil blankets, just in case I want to stop and I don't. Obviously it's not an emergency where I'm going to climb into my bivvy, but I just want a bit of extra warmth around me. Separate emergency food reserve, so 400 calories. They've got equivalent to 1 gel, 1 energy bar, or 2 gels, 2 flapjacks. 2 flapjacks. You have to have these at the end with you as well, so you can't. All of these rules, all of the rules that you see in there, while they are designed for safety, there's a something you need to bear in mind. If you're not a competitor, if you're not entering the World Series or anything like that, and you break one of these rules, the worst that's going to happen is they might not let you have your medal. The rules are more designed to keep it an even playing field for the proper athletes, the ones who are going to compete. So they might check. They may well check if you came in, you know, 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. They may well then go and check through your gear. If you're hungry and you want your flapjack, eat your flapjack. You're not going to get disqualified from the World Series, or unlikely to. You wouldn't be looking at my kit rundown if you was in that level. Whistle. Again, this one actually came with that bivvy bag. It's loud enough. You'll need one of those. Base plate compass. That's this type of compass. Not this type of compass. Okay, that type of compass. Okay, small personal first aid kit next on the list. The clue's in the word personal. So if your first aid kit should be things that you might need. I'll have like Imodium in mind. If I think I'm going to have stomach troubles, I'll pop an Imodium, or I might even do one preemptively before I start running. I'll have indigestion tablets in there because I know that if I don't eat properly, I get indigestion. There are certain things in there, obviously, that are fairly generic, so triangular bandage, that kind of stuff. Another word about first aid kits, if you've never done anything like this before, if you come across a casualty, somebody that needs first aid, you use their first aid kit. That's why it's called personal. You don't use yours, okay? The reason I mention that is, make sure that your first aid kit is easily accessible and recognisable. Personal identification, yep. Long sleeve synthetic material, so I've just got this puffer jacket. Yep, that'll do it. Protective eyewear. This is another one that gets a lot of chatter online. So I use these glasses here. So these glasses, I'll put a link to these. They come with replacement lenses, and they also have this guard all the way around that you can take out. I use these all the time when I'm running. So I use them as sunglasses anyway when I'm running because they fit quite nicely. And then in the winter, I do put the guard on and I do run with them on. In a couple of months' time, I'll change the lenses for the amber ones so that when I'm running sort of like in the night, I can still see. But these fit really well. They fit really snug. They stop wind and rain coming in. And when you race specific training, you've got to go out in the rain. You never know what it's going to do. So get out there. Get yourself a pair of these. They're not particularly expensive. They're a very, very serviceable pair of sunglasses. And yeah, these are the ones that I run with. Now I think that is all the mandatory kit. It is. A couple of other things that I take with me, I've already mentioned two things. I take the wind jacket and the spare beanies. I take a couple of bandanas. I'll have one wrapped on my wrist, one around my neck. Chemical hand warmers, so again, if for any reason you have to stop, you can crack one of these, throw it in your pocket, or throw it in your, if you've got a smock type top on, throw it in the front of that, and it'll just start to help keep you warm. Gels, I will be taking gels, but they will be for, hopefully just for emergency. One of the things I've been experimenting with, or testing with I should say, is eating proper food. So I was giving some good advice, try proper food, and I must admit the long runs I've been doing, I haven't used gels on any of them for several months. So I've been using real food. I'll do a different video on that. But yeah, that's the sort of kit breakdown of the stuff I'll be using. If you've got any questions, or if you think I've missed anything, or if you just want a bit of advice, this will be my second one. I did the first one, the 25 last year. I'm doing the 50 this year, and if all goes well, maybe the 100 next year. So yeah, got any questions, pop me a comment, drop me a line. I'll help best I can. If you want to know anything about the kit that I'm using, again, yeah, drop me a line. I'm interested to see what kit you're using as well. This won't be my last video before the Arc, so hopefully I will see you on the start line and on the finish line. Yeah, until then, stay safe, have fun, and I will see you on the long run.